People love to talk about how this player's a bust or that player's a bust, but what people fail to realize is that these busts are still NBA players, and at any given night, they have the ability to just go off and put up numbers. In this video, I'd like to highlight what I believe to be the best game from some of the biggest busts in NBA history. To begin this video, I'd like to start off with one of the most infamous busts of all time. Many of you probably know who it is, but I'd like someone else to introduce him, someone who knows his game very well. Stephen A. Smith, take it away.
Kwame Brown is gone. The City of Angels, Hollywood, just should be celebrated. Throw a parade already, whether you win a championship or not. This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play.
Kwame Brown was selected with the #1 overall pick in the 2001 NBA draft by the Washington Wizards. Coming straight out of high school, Brown averaged 20.1 points, 13.3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 5.8 blocks his senior year, and after a workout with the Washington Wizards, he reportedly told them, "If you draft me, you won't regret it."
Boy, if you don't get...
And oh boy, how wrong he was. I mean, looking at his career, Brown went on to average a mere 6.6 points and 5.5 rebounds, and his best year came with the Wizards where he averaged just 10.9 points and 7.4 rebounds, both career highs. But to be fair to Kwame, he had a lot, and I mean a lot of expectations on him during his rookie season, and at just 18 years old, I don't think anyone could really handle that pressure. Add to the fact that he was playing with Michael Jordan, who reportedly took his confidence away, and it's easy to see why he went down this path. And then he went on to play with Kobe Bryant, which wasn't any better. Brown also had small hands and wasn't very athletic, so it seemed like he was destined to be a bust. However, there was one specific night during the 2003-04 season where everything seemed that it would turn out alright for Brown. On March 17, 2004, the 21-46 Washington Wizards would suit up against the 49-19 Sacramento Kings, who had a front court led by Vlade Divac and Chris Webber. And even though Divac was at the tail end of his career and Webber was struggling through injuries that season, they were still formidable opponents. How would a 22-year-old Kwame Brown respond? Well, in the midst of the best season of his career, Kwame played all 48 minutes that night and absolutely punished the Kings, going off for 30 points, 19 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, on 12 of 16 shooting, and 6 of 7 from the line, leading them to a 114-108 win, and absolutely cooking the Kings in the first quarter with 16 points on a perfect 7 of 7 shooting. On this day, Kwame Brown played like the center many envisioned and wanted him to be. Even for just a moment, Kwame Brown was the best center on the court. Moving on from Kwame, I'd like to look at a more recent bust, but one who is considered amongst the worst #1 overall picks in NBA history, and who I'm talking about is the #1 pick of the 2013 draft, Anthony Bennett. Coming out of his one and only season in UNLV, Bennett averaged 16 points and 8 rebounds, impressive numbers for a freshman. However, what was really eye-opening was how efficient he was from the court, shooting 53.3% from the field and 37.5% from 3. Going into the draft, Bennett was compared to UNLV great and NBA All-Star Larry Johnson, who was the #1 overall pick in the 1991 draft, due to similar physical profiles and similar playstyles of their inside-out game. Although he was selected #1 overall, analysts were very skeptical at the Cavs pick, as better prospects such as Victor Oladipo and Nerlens Noel at the time were available. And these analysts proved to be correct, as Bennett struggled mightily in his rookie year, failing to score in double digits in his first 33 games, and averaging just 4.2 points and 3 rebounds, shooting 35.6% from the field and 24.5% from 3. Imagine being the #1 overall pick and just a few games into your rookie season, you're being labeled as one of the worst first overall picks in NBA history? That's tough. However, even with a horrible rookie season, this was the season that he actually had the best game of his career on February 11th, 2014 against the Sacramento Kings. Bennett came off the bench as a spark plug for the Cavs and ended the night with 19 points and 10 rebounds, shooting an efficient 6 of 9 from the field and 3 of 3 from the three-point line. And his free throw numbers did need work as he shot 4 of 9, but it was still a very good showing either way. That night, he was able to prove to critics that he could still conjure up some of that magic that he had when he was playing in UNLV, but unfortunately, Bennett's career would come to an end at just 4 seasons, playing for 4 different teams and averaging just 4.4 points and 3.1 rebounds on his career. Greg Oden is considered one of the biggest busts in NBA history, but for different reasons than the other 2 previously stated on this list. Injuries took his career away at such a young age, and unfortunately, we were never able to see a prime Greg Oden. After just 1 year of college at Ohio State, where he averaged 15.7 points, 9.6 rebounds, and 3.3 blocks, Oden was selected number 1 overall by the Portland Trail Blazers. Unfortunately for Oden and the Blazers, a microfracture surgery to his right knee would hold him out for the whole season, but he would finally make his debut in the 2008-2009 season. Oden was relatively healthy, playing in a career-high 61 games and averaged 8.9 points and 7 rebounds to go along with 1.1 blocks. Oden would also have the best game of his short career this season as well on February 8th, 2009 against the New York Knicks, where he put up 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 blocks on 7 of 11 shooting. Oden would lead his team that night in box plus minus and defensive rating and show just how dominant he could be on both the defensive and offensive end of the court. What makes this performance even more impressive was the fact that Oden had just turned 21 years old at the time, and he hadn't even scratched the surface of his potential. Oden's career would unfortunately never be fully realized, as significant injuries to both of his knees forced him to miss 61 games in the 2009-10 season and all of the 2010 through 2013 seasons. He ended his career as a reserve for the Miami Heat, where he played his first NBA game since December 5th, 2009. Unfortunately for us, we will never know how good Greg Oden could have been and what he could have made of his NBA career. Moving away from number 1 picks, whatever happened to Dante Exum? Standing at 6'5", 190 pounds, Exum was considered to have one of the highest ceilings in the draft because of his combination of size, ball handling skills, and athleticism. He was thought of so highly that scouts and websites compared him to the likes of Penny Hardaway. This led him to being selected 5th overall by the Utah Jazz, who saw him as their point guard of the future. However, Exum struggled mightily in his rookie year, appearing in all 82 games but averaging just 4.8 points and 2.4 assists on horrible efficiency. Unfortunately for Exum, this was just the beginning of the end. In August 2015, Exum suffered a torn ACL, and that forced him to miss all of his sophomore season. He would return in the 2016-17 season, but it was clear that he still needed work, as he still struggled from the field, particularly shooting from the 3-point line. Once again, during the offseason the following year, Exum suffered a shoulder injury and was forced to miss significant time, playing in just 14 games during the 2017-18 season. And in the following year, he played in just 41 games due to an ankle sprain, bone bruise, and torn patellar tendon. Exum was eventually traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and surprisingly enough, this was where he would produce the best performance of his career. On January 5th, 2020, against the Minnesota Timberwolves, Exum exploded out of nowhere for 28 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, shooting 11 of 13 from the field and 4 of 4 from the 3-point line. Unfortunately, Exum couldn't carry any of this momentum forward, and in the 18 appearances following, he averaged just 4 points on 39% shooting and was eventually ruled out for an extended period of time due to an ankle injury. At just 24 years old, do you think he'll be able to still revive his career? Finally, I'd like to talk about Hasheem Thabeet, the final man on the list. Thabeet was one of the most dominant players in the history of college basketball, according to UConn coach Jim Calhoun, after averaging 4.2 blocks over his 3 years in college. Feeding into the hype, the Grizzlies selected him with the 2nd overall pick in the 2009 draft, and he was compared to all-time great defender and rim protector Dikembe Mutombo. Boy, have scouts never been so wrong in their life. I don't even know where to start with Thabeet. He averaged a career-high 3.1 points per game and a career-high 3.6 rebounds in his rookie season. To think that these are career highs are just laughable. How could he get worse from here? I don't even know. Thabeet played on 4 different teams in his 5 years in the league and played in just 224 total games. He averaged just 2.2 points, 2.7 rebounds, 0.8 blocks to go along with his 2 fouls per game. Imagine averaging almost the same amount of fouls as points and rebounds. Thabeet's best game of his career came with his time with the Oklahoma City Thunder on November 26, 2012 in a blowout win against the Charlotte Bobcats. Coming off the bench, Thabeet put up a career-high 13 points to go along with 10 rebounds and 1 block in 27 minutes. Hasheem Thabeet was horrible. Nothing more, nothing less. I have nothing more to say about him, honestly. Thank you very much for watching the video, and if you enjoyed, hit the like button, comment who you think is the biggest bust ever, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day, or night, wherever you are.